Live with Dan the Man Marino.
All right, Solo D, Miami Sports Music. He's awesome.
Let's go. Live with Dan the Man Marino.
All right, Solo D, Miami Sports Music. He's awesome.
Let's go. It's like that. DWA, Dolphins with attitude, baby. Let's go. Chia. Welcome to the most loyal fan base in the world. Starting out with the hometown, 305, around the world. From this town to that town, Phinside. Showing how we get down.
Dog fan for life. I don't like no other team. Aqua orange wardrobe. That's my favorite color scheme. NFL legends. And we still hovering. They can take us out, but I'm out. You ain't covering. Say it loud. And best believe respect is due. Until they break the record, we keep repping 7-2. If you ain't learned the history, then I suggest you do. 2-finger salute to the whole schedule. And your roster. Got no time for the critics and the analyzers. Talking dirty about my team, we gon' sanitize it. Win or lose, we keep something to say. Dog fans with attitude, DWA. That's the name, you should know it. Solo D, I'm known to do my thing like a poet. I'm repping for the crib, MIA. And when them teams coming at us, this is all we say. What's up? We gon' hit, we gon' sack, we gon' score, we gon' attack, we gon' hit, we gon' sack, we gon' score, we gon' attack. Hands up, we gon' hit, we gon' sack, we gon' score, we gon' attack, we gon' hit, we gon' sack. We gon' score, we gon' attack. Okay, do it for the culture, represent the legacy, no flip-flopping. Loyalty's the recipe, we wild for the team. We overly committed, hate the Jets and the Pats, and we overly admit it. It's okay, keep the juice on our team, no OJ. Whole squad well seasoned, no Obey. John Schuler, that's the mayor, and then the man for president, cause that's our favorite player. Go get Thomas and Taylor to fill the Oval Office, and bringing Patty Sam McKay supposed to taking offense, bringing them new Dolphins, and that's how we gon' roll. Every year we gotta go to hit another Super Bowl. Riding with them either way it go. Fans for life, that's why we throw the four. Laser vision on, extra focus. If you ain't never noticed, next time you gon' notice that we gon' hit, we gon' sack, we gon' score, we gon' attack, we gon' hit, we gon' sack, we gon' score, we gon' attack. Hands up, we gon' hit, we gon' sack, we gon' score, we gon' attack, we gon' hit, we gon' sack, we gon' score, we gon' attack. Hands up, they gon' hit. Sack, Rob County gon' score, attack, West Palm gon' hit, sack, score, attack, the whole Florida gon' hit, sack, down south gon' score, attack, out west they gon' hit, sack, score, attack. Who that? Solo.
Hey, what's up? Y'all know who it is, man. It's the Dolphins D. We already in here. Ready to turn up this year. We gon' get it.
Hard Rock Stadium.
We gon' defend. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We gon' defend. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We got the whole squad with me now. Train to go. Come play games if you want to. Try to crash our house, you done took the wrong route. We gon' crash in you like a stunt dude. Check y'all like 1-2. Tap your head like your uncle. You wanna ride, stay buckle. It get loud down here, get wild down here. Time to feel the jungle. Never disrespect the squad that's defended by a line. And some beasts on the feast on the opposition. Another line in the back, sing it to the ER. Just in case you got through the first line with tripping. But if for some reason it get crazy, I got watchers on the corner for my safety. Everybody here well coached. Change the weather under pressure, stay cool. I got AC. Woo! But we still make heat. Woo! Was you trying to play me? We be 3 plus AD, but I'm a fool so low. Can't never do great beat. Be great, only way to do great things. Hit hard, only way to make a statement. Come up in our territory, make a payment. Or be in debt with your neck. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad.
Yeah. I hit them boys. We throw them toys. That's saying that QB. We them boys. We the realest. We go gorillas. We out here, homie. You gon' feel us. Don't make me come down. In that box. Like I'm red. I'll knock your socks. Won't play y'all boys. Cause we some bullies. We'll take your cookies. Cause y'all some rookies. I'm in the building. Me and Shot Jones. We do lane. We don't play zone. We play that man. So guard your hand. I see your eyes. You're scared,
We
man.
gon' defend it. We gon' defend it. We gon' defend it. Home of this side. And we gon' defend it. We gon' defend it. Let me hear you say his squad. 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 We gon' defend it. We gon' defend it. We gon' defend it. Home of this side. Home of this side. And we gon' defend it. We gon' defend it. Let me hear you say his squad. 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 I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fins for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. Who that? To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds a gift. He knowing when to go with fits. So we knowing when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that pick about. Bad vibes get sent out. Only fans up in this house. We been waiting, yeah, we been patient. Now it's time to cash out, no discount. Super Bowl, yeah, we en route. I don't know when, but it's close. I don't wanna overhype, but I just know I like it. So excited, you gon' notice now. You should notarize it. They say tour from that rock. Shout out to Samoa and Islands. Time to lay the smack down. You think you Dwayne Johnson? Time to be the people's champ. Hit them with the people's elbows. Sit together like it's Velcro. You think you could stop us? Hell no, all day I dream about sports. I think I need some Chateau custom with some Dolphins colors. Just to let them know we here. Yeah. I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fins for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. Who that? To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time.
To a time, to a time. Really hope he the man. Hope we found us a gem. Like the Heat found Bam. Wanna take time to thank Fitz, cause he put on the show. But the young man up, in the whole city know. Time to catch all the blessings. Cash out on the investment. Ball out, don't choke. Fins want all the smoke. Chris Gregg gave hope. Coach flow like spoke. Damn Marina still a GOAT. But to a man on go. Watch to a man throw. Watch to a man scope. Watch to a man dishes that we never ever seen before. Fans up, let's win. Born ready for a ring. Maybe 3, 4, 5, 6. It's damn week, use 10.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fins for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time.
So low, so low, so low, deep. So low, so low, so low, deep.
D Miami Sports Music, salute.
Alright, no,
What's up? We got Finger Licking live.
It's Kane over here. Turn over over chain, turn 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 over chain. You seen big homie get a fumble, he get a turnover chain. Seen big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd going user, we want that turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy, we want that turnover chain, turnover chain. Turnover chain is deeper than jewelry, deeper than blink. It's deeper. See, this is our thing, and you was the team, it's strictly for Kane. Invented the swag, you rented that brand, but we want it back. Let me get that. But you can keep the old one, cause we keep something new in the bag. All of these players is hungry, don't come in here thinking it's funny. We aiming for something, rocking the chains when it's sunny. Even when raining or something, we ain't gonna be something. I hope your quarterback don't think it's sweet. The defense will make them take a seat. And if somebody strip the ball out, then somebody get a Cuban link. Now you know how it go with the fans though. We be going wild out in the stands though. If you're not with the team, you're not familiar. If you throwing U's up, you're not familiar. Come on, get loose like a band, trombone, throw 3 or 5 up, my home, CWA. Tell them about it. All the canes going wild when we yelling this out. Turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You seen big homie get the fumble, he get a turnover chain. Seen big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd going user, we want that turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy, we want that turnover chain. Who that?
So low, so low, deep. So low, so low, so low, deep.
It's some canes over here. It's some canes over here.
Man, y'all were part of the Buffet Boys. Shout out Solo D. And shout out to DWA. Let's eat.
Yo, Solo. You know they just say you gotta make a hit squad part 2. But you know, man, we hungry this time, man. We gotta eat this time. Yeah. Back in the beast mode. AMC was trying to rap up the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. Any boys going hard, man, I must say. Try to stay on one route like the busway. Trying to eat teams up like a buffet. Buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the whole line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Stay on one route like the busway.
I say and not quote. Go hard or go home is the motto. A pick or a sack is the lotto. Let's cook them like Emerald Lagasso. My bad, Lagasse. He going south, that is not me. Hungry for greatness, so I eat. Stay in my zone like a Bobby. Jumping off the edge like E and Shaq. Straight pressure, never even back. Protection on the way you gon' get wins. Split through the middle like Wilkins. Got some backers on the back that's gon' back me up. Straight action, we be acting up. Tell Coach Drop his best plan, but it still get snatched by X-Man. Cause we back in the beast mode. AMC was trying to rap up the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. Any boys going hard, man, I must say. Try to stay on one route like the busway. Trying to eat teams up like a buffet. Buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the whole line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Eat like a buffet.
Eating like a buffet, it be a long day. We ain't gon' play. Yeah, them boys green, no subway. Pick the ball off X and BJ. I don't care about what he and she say. That's nonsense. Check the replay. I work overnight and it's early morning, but I'm turned up cause it's game day. They don't really want it with your boy. O-line really get destroyed. Ex-Patriot, Cal Van Noy. Put him on his butt, hurt hemorrhoids. What's a grown man to a boy? Jam him at the line, dare you to throw it. Discipline coach Brian Flores. Never get me rattled to boys. Fans better pay attention, even social distance. I got a witness and you know we blitzing. But mind your business. Christian Wilkins on the line of scrimmage. Far from timid, pushing to the limit, rubbing engine. You know we gotta get it, Nick Nina. You know we gonna pick it, Van Ginkle. Take it to the business. Fins up till my life is finished. Say it with my chest cause I'm in it. A lie, no why, I admit it. New era, yeah, I division. A win streak, we just keep on winning. So I lose and tell them suck the limit. Bills with the Jets in New England. Miami top dogs where you hit me.
Back in the beast mode. AMC was trying to rap up the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. Any boys going hard, man, I must say. Try to stay on one route like the busway. Trying to eat teams up like a buffet. Buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the whole line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Stand one ride like the busway.
So low, so low, so low, deep. So low, so low, so low, deep.
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, Stephen D, and I am super excited to be hanging out with y'all this morning. You want to know why? Because it's a beautiful day when I'm hanging out with Dolphins fans just like y'all selves. That's right. I'm super excited. It is your boy, Stephen D, and I'm doing the thing, and I'm super excited to be hanging out with you guys today. Good morning. It is Thursday, May the 27th, and I am super excited to be here with y'all. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a good time. That's what we're going to do. We're going to hang out. We got some big guests on the show today. I am super stoked about it. It is going to be awesome. You want to know why it's going to be awesome? Because you guys are here, and you guys are the best fans in the world. That's right. This is your boy, Stephen Daniels, on home for the #1 show in the morning, Clack Blockers. I am your host, Stephen D. Super excited to be hanging out with you. Let's get this party started, shall we? It is your boy, Stephen D. Good morning, Finlaws. I am super excited to be hanging out with you this morning. Yeah, that's right. Look, you want to know why today's a good day? Because we got some pretty cool guests on today. That guy, y'all know him. You can't reason with him, but he is reason. And we're going to get to him here in a little bit when he hops on, y'all. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Want to give a big shout out to the YouTube members that are on the channel so far this morning. My man Marcus J is out here, as well as Vic. Vic already donated $5 this morning. You want to know why he did? Because we're doing a giveaway. Anyone who donates over $5 today will get in for a drawing for those new DWA shorts only on MiamiSportsMusic.com. So if you guys want a chance to win some DWA shorts today, if you donate over $5 to the channel, remember all the donations help our channel grow. That's what we're trying to do here. You guys will get a chance to win some DWA shorts. That's right. Super excited about it. And we're going to have a good time today. So I'm going to be looking out for people that are putting $5 name. Vic, I already got your name written down. You're in the bag already. So let's go and do that. That's going to be absolutely awesome. It's going to be a good time. But without further ado, there's a way we do this show every morning. And so what we do is we recap the South Florida sports teams and what happened the night before, what's coming up. And then we usually go into Dolphin chat. And if you guys look to the right here, as you guys can see, I want you guys to use the hashtag DolphinChat, hashtag ClockBlockers. All right. And make sure you guys also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at StephenDSKPL, and also follow Miami Sports Music at MIA Sports Music and at Miami Sports Music. That's right. Super excited to be here with you today. It was a rough day last night. Let me tell you why it was such a rough game last night. Before I actually get into that, and because I've already put some people in the comments about the Panthers, we're going to get to the Panthers. It was rough. We all know it. But I want to tell some people of some things that are coming up in South Florida this weekend. Number one, if you guys have never been to the Inter Miami CF, you guys got to go check them out. They are having their first full capacity home game at 8 o'clock on Saturday evening. If you guys look, Inter Miami CF announced on Tuesday that the team would be opening up its home stadium in full capacity. Drive Pink Stadium will offer every seat to fans beginning with the match on Saturday, May 29th against the DC United. Super excited about that. If you guys did not catch my show on Onside Radio in the afternoon for the fans on Onside, it's Miami Sports Music for the fans on Onside Radio. Shout out to Big O. You guys missed out because I had a really cool, I had Max Ramos on from the Siege supporters group. And let me tell you, look, I'm still learning the game of soccer. I'm still like learning how to fall in love with it. But it was such a fun 2-day conversation with him. We had to do 2 days because there was just so much to talk about. And there was so much good stuff to get into about having a team in Miami whose main colors are pink and black. And if you've ever been to that stadium, it's a wild stadium. It's an absolutely wild stadium to see. So I absolutely enjoyed it. Make sure you guys go download and check that out. But that game's at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. Also, tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Miami Heat are playing at home finally. Now, they're down 0-2 in the series to the Milwaukee Bucks, and that game's going to be live on TNT. But look, man, this is going to be a tough game. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a must-win game for the Miami Heat. If they don't find a way to pull it out of there, you know what, then I don't know how they're going to pull this series out down 3-0. They're not going to do it. I would love to hear from you and what your thoughts are. Use the hashtag Heat Chat, hashtag Clock Blockers. I just want to know your thoughts. What do you guys think is going to happen tonight? Do you think there's any way they can win this game? Or do you think is there any way they can do this thing? Because what I want to see is I want to see them pull it out, but I just don't know, man. Milwaukee just looks so great in game 2. I'd never seen Miami Heat dominated like that in a long time. So it was very interesting. Jimmy Butler's got to show up. Butler has to show up. So it'll be very, very, very interesting to see, what happens with that. All right. Also, a few other news and notes. Last night, as we all know, Florida Panthers went home. They went home last night. They lost 4-0 to the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 6 of the first round of the NHL playoffs. It was a very, very tough loss, let me tell you. Tampa Bay got up 2-0 going into the third period. Spencer Knight didn't play bad at all. Spencer Knight, the rookie, 25-year-old goalie. It just they could not find a way to pull it out. You're looking at that. Spencer Knight, he was selected in the 13th overall pick in the 2019 NHL entry draft. He only allowed 3 goals. I know the score was 4-3 or 4-0, but that's because there was an empty net goal at the end of the game last night. So, look, they couldn't pull it out. Now, what I think they're a couple of pieces away from putting it all together. And I think this is a great stepping stone for a young team like the Panthers. And you got to remember, Tampa Bay Lightning are the defending NHL champions. So when you're looking at that, you got to realize that, hey, they didn't do a horrible job in every game. And they should have went to Spencer Knight way before they did. I think if they had started Spencer Knight from game 1 of this series, they would have been in it. They would have been in it. There's no doubt in my mind that would have been the case. So that's what I hope happens going into next year, is that we see Spencer Knight, the everyday goalie for the Florida Panthers, because I can tell you the guys that were in there for the first few games of that series were not the people that I want to be moving forward with, seeing a playoff run for the Florida Panthers going into next season. But shout out to the Florida Panthers. They had a great year. It wasn't good enough to win a playoff series, but that's okay, right? We'll be back next year. They'll be better. I'd like to see some offseason moves that they make. I'd like to see them go get a veteran goalie to back up Spencer Knight. And most importantly, I'd like to see them get somebody who knows how to score a goal and can be that, somebody who can come into the game and just be that lightning spark, no pun intended. Hey, that's what I hope is going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Last night, also in the world of Miami sports, the Miami Marlins won 4-2 against the Philadelphia Phillies. It was a pretty good game from the bullpen, and I'll get to that in a minute. The Marlins scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. being down 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th. So it was a come from behind win. The Marlins looked pretty good last night. You got to remember, all these teams in the NL East are within a few games of each other. But from last night's point of view, if you look at the pitching, the starting pitcher went 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So it wasn't a great pitching performance by the starting pitcher, Nick. But, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pitchers pitched all 1 innings. It was really, really good. Nobody else gave up an earned run. And, look, it was a bullpen game. And sometimes in a 160-something game season, you got to have your bullpen win baseball games for you. So, look, the Miami Marlins might be a couple of games, from being 500. But you got to realize that the NL East is not a good division, and they could make the playoffs this year, and they could win the division this year. So if you guys want to see some exciting playoff baseball or some good baseball later on in the latter part of the season, the Marlins are going to be right there. They are. But you got to watch out for teams like the Philadelphia Phillies with Bryce Harper. You got to watch teams for like the Atlanta Braves with Ronald Acuna Jr. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens with the Marlins as they move forward this year. But they're a young team. They're a very, very young team. If you're a big, big baseball fan, which I am, if you could check out my show for the fans on on Onside Radio, Miami Sports Music for the Fans last night, I had a sit down with Alex Aguirre, and we had an amazing 1-hour talk about baseball, the state of baseball, the Marlins, where they're at, and just how horrible Major League Baseball is at marketing and how they can't get young fans to be able to do that. So it'll be very, very, very interesting to see where they go. Fantasy panel. Look, my voice is kind of hoarse, Fantasy. I've literally been up all night. So that's what it is. I don't think it's my mic. I think it's my voice. I think my voice is like straight up. It's going away. I do 2 shows every day. I'm not used to this. I've been doing this now for 2.5 weeks. So it's been a little crazy. So this weekend, I plan on not talking like the whole weekend. So I just got to drink some hot toddies, let my voice relax a little bit, and I'll be right back ready to go next week, bro, because it is definitely going a little crazy. M says, Pete, are you coming on this show this morning? No. Pete isn't, but you'll see the man here, the myth, the legend here in a minute who's on. And I'm going to get him on here in a second. But I want to remind everybody this morning, we are giving away those awesome DWA shorts. All right. How can you enter to get those new DWA shorts? You can go to, you can donate over $5 this morning. Any donation to the channel over $5, you will be entered to win a free pair of DWA shorts. Remember, your donation helps our channel grow. It's able for me to be able to do graphics like you're seeing right now. But we have a lot of things we want to do, and we're growing, we're expanding. We have a lot more podcasts in the works. And, the goal is to bring on some amazing guests like this individual I have on here in a little bit. And so I'm super excited. So make sure you guys donate, help the channel grow. And if you guys donate over $5 today, you'll be entered to win a pair of DWA shorts. So have fun with that. And we're definitely going to be able to do that. 5 or more, Marcus, 5 or more. Yes. Doesn't have to be 5. It could be 6. It could be $5.01. Whatever tickles your belt, whatever tickles your fancy, floats your boat, whatever. Look, okay. Next up on the docket. Let me get in here real quick and move this over just a little bit. We're going to have a pretty awesome show for you today. Why are we going to have an awesome show? Because of the guest that I have on. We got Reason from Phinside the NFL on. He's going to break down the offensive depth chart of the Miami Dolphins today. So what I want you guys to do is you guys see the hashtag there, Dolphin Chat, hashtag Dolphin Chat, hashtag Clock Blockers. Make sure you guys do that. You're going to see Reason's social media handle. I want to make sure you guys tag him in all social media posts today. And show my man some love, man. because I've been watching his videos for a couple of years now, and I have to tell you, what he does is something that a lot of people try to do but can't quite pull it off. And he knows how to do it because he knows the game. And that's one of the reasons I wanted him on, besides him being an awesome guy. I wanted him to come on this morning because I wanted to get his expertise on some of this stuff, right? And I'm a fan. That's why I started the podcast network. I wanted to create something for the fans. And Reason is a fan too, but Reason knows his stuff, man. He knows his stuff a lot better than some of these damn reporters that are out here actually covering the team for like a network or something. So if you guys have not checked out Phinside the NFL, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you need to go check out Phinside the NFL because Reason is the man. Now that I've pumped him up and I've said all this nice stuff about him, why not bring him in? And what's up, big guy? How's it going?
What's going on, brother? I don't know how I follow up that introduction.
Well, you know,
I got a lot to live up to now, don't I?
We do have a lot to live up to. We pull this out a little bit. There we go. Yeah, man. How you doing this morning, man? You ready to break down some offensive depth charts this morning?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to go. Thank you again for having me on, bro. It's a pleasure.
Dude, man, seriously, I really mean it when I've been saying it. Like, I've been watching you now for a while, and you know, the videos I see you do, especially of the game film breakdown, is like unreal. It's unmatched, is really what it is.
Appreciate it, man.
And so when I was preparing for like draft coverage this year for our network, I was looking at some of your stuff, and you know, some of the people that you touched on, they hit, Javon Holland being one of them.
Yes, sir.
And you called that, so it was you know your stuff, man. I'm impressed. That's all I can say.
Appreciate it.
How long? I mean, you played football, right?
Yes, sir. I played up here in Canada. We played 3-down ball. So I was a high school quarterback for basically a major Catholic high school, power high school. And then I went on to play college ball. I was just a backup in college, though I wasn't a starter. So
let me ask you, man, what do you think about, real quick, what do you think about the CFL XFL merger?
I think it's interesting. The CFL needs as much help as it can get. To be honest, I've been one of the guys that, you know, I've been down with them folding the league, bringing, you know, and starting two NFL franchises, one on the East Coast out here in Ontario and one on the West Coast. I would have been down for something like that. So,
do you think NFL could go into Canada? Like, I knew Toronto was always the case because of Buffalo, but I mean, I got to think Buffalo is going to end up getting a new stadium deal. So I don't see Toronto getting the team now.
I know. I went to the first ever. It was the Bills and the Dolphins up here in Toronto. I mean, it was rocking, man. You know, there's a lot of Bills fans, Dolphin fans, and Steeler fans this way. So I think it could. I think it could pop off for sure.
All right. Well, look, man, I'm interested to see where they go with it. And plus, The Rock is involved in it, and I love The Rock. So if The Rock's involved in it, hopefully it comes to fruition, and it turns out to be a little bit better than his show Ballers, although I did like Ballers, and I watched every episode. Loved it.
Awesome show, yeah.
All right, man. Let's kind of get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. So what I'm going to do is, the way I had set it up, is I'm going to kind of introduce everything, and then I'm going to switch the screens back and forth, and you'll see why here in a minute, because this is what I was up doing all night last night into the wee hours of the morning with no sleep. So I guess the first things first, I guess we'll start at center, because I think that's a good way to start. So if you're looking at this right now, you'll see I broke it down into one. I went to NBC Sports. I went to a couple different places. But if you look at the bottom right of the screen, you'll see where I got the information from. So this is from NBC Sports, and this is the center position. They got Skura, Dieter, Tyler Gaither, and Blake Ferguson as the top four. So, I mean, number one, I just want to kind of get your thoughts, and then I want to discuss Skura and Teeter.
Yeah, I think Tom Cameron has to be included in that as well. Instead of, but I get why they have Blake Ferguson there as the long snapper, so I understand that. But clearly they brought Tom Cameron on to compete for that job. I think this battle is really going to come down to Skura and Dieter. In terms of Skura, it's going to be about if he can find that 2018 form. And with Dieter, this is a guy who we saw him when he came in last year at guard, and he was moving people like they were buildings, no problem. And with Michael Dieter, it's all going to be about live action. It's going to be about communication, as we all know. The center position that you're basically the quarterback of the offensive line. You got to be able to ID the mics. You got to be able to call out this guy's blitzes. So it's going to be interesting to see Michael Dieter's development. Clearly, they believe in him because we didn't go ahead and draft a center like most of us thought they would. When
I wanted Lander Dickerson so bad. I wanted Lander Dickerson.
Really,
Dickerson. Yeah, or Creed Humphrey.
Yeah.
Because Creed was a left-handed snapper and Tu was a left-handed quarterback. To me, that made sense.
Yeah, and by the way, just to address FinFans panel, I dropped a video on October 25th calling Javon Holland the best safety in the draft, and I was talking about Javon Holland last August, so no, I did not hear you on anything.
Dude, fantasy. Look, fantasy's the troublemaker here, but I love fantasy. But he's going to start some stuff.
Oh, we're not fans of each other. Let's put it mildly. So I think they believe in Dieter. I didn't. Landon Dickerson, I was fine with, but I wasn't fine with how high he went, just because he was red-shirted due to the fact he was injured every single year. I mean, he's got 2 ankle injuries and he's got 2 ACL tears in the same knee that he's coming off of, right? Mm-hmm. So, for a guy his size, when you're dealing with those lower extremity injuries, that's kind of a dangerous game to be playing. I thought Creed Humphrey was kind of, when we talk about Dieter and his ability to communicate, ID mics, call out this guy's blitzes. Creed Humphrey had already shown that. He had just, he kind of had the Tyler Biadasz effect, if everyone remembers Tyler Biadasz last year, where Tyler Biadasz was clearly the number 1 coming into the year, but he had bad film for his final year. That was kind of where Creed Humphrey was at. So, another guy I wanted when we were sitting at 80, I had him on my show, Quinn Miners, out of Whitewater, Wisconsin. So that was an option too. But I think they believe in Dieter.
Drafted him in my mock draft in the 2nd or 3rd round. I forget which one.
Yeah,
but I had them getting him.
Yeah, I think they believe in Dieter's development. So that's why I think they didn't make a high investment.
So that was my follow-up question. You just answered it, but my follow-up question, does that mean that they like Dieter better than any of the centers that were in the draft, with the exception of maybe Creed?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, if you saw Quinn Miners before the draft, he went on a podcast and he said he felt he was going to be drafted by the Miami Dolphins. I just think that they hold Dieter clearly in a high regard if they didn't make a move.
Interesting. Marcus J from the channel says, I think the left-hand thing is overrated. I mean,
it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
So here's the thing. I mean, how many left-handed quarterbacks are there? So I feel like it wouldn't. I mean, I don't know because I haven't seen it enough, right? But I feel like it's got to give you, even if it's a half a second quicker of the snap, it's got to make a little bit of a difference. No,
because the ball is coming to the same spot. It's just about getting there in time. That's all. Because think of it, it's still coming up under your ass, right? It's still coming up under your ass. It doesn't matter whether it's with a right or a left, you're still grabbing it the same way, right? So it doesn't really matter.
That's true. I'll give you that there. And I played center when I played in high school, but I was a right-handed center and I always had right-handed quarterback. So, that's the big guy, the big boy that I am. Guys, I want to make sure if you're watching right now, you guys are hitting that like button. I need you guys to go do that. Also subscribe, and I need you guys to go hit and subscribe. Make sure you turn on that notifications tab while you're at it too. All right, let's go on to the next thing here, Reason. Next thing I have here is tackles. Tackles projected left, according to fantasydata.com. I have Austin Jackson, Jesse Davis, and Coleman. And then on the right tackle, I have Robert Hunt, DJ Fluker, and Hubbard. Really interested to kind of hearing, what your thoughts are on this too.
Okay, so I think, Jesse Davis is clearly going to be your swing tackle right now. I think DJ Fluker is also going to be your backup swing tackle, but can also be your swing guard. I do think Robert Hunt is going to be kicked into right guard. I think Liam Eichenberg is going to be your starting right tackle. I've been saying since we drafted Robert Hunt, so over 370, 380 days now, wherever we're at, that Robert Hunt, when you look at his hip flexibility, when you drop his butt, when you look at his lateral movement, he's slow into his kick slide. That's why he had a lot of issues in pass pro last year. He was constantly into his lap. He's better suited as a guard. I think you can get all pro level out of him at guard. And then Barry Jackson dropped an article last week basically talking about how it's funny. They echoed my sentiments. He said that sources inside the Dolphins are saying that they believe he can be a Pro Bowl guard. And I've been saying he can be an all-pro guard for over a year now. So I think Robert Hunt is going to be your right guard. And I think Liam Eichenberg, even with his 32.28-inch arms, is going to be given every chance to win the right tackle position. And I think the reason why he's going to win it is because he's way more technically and fundamentally sound than a guy like Robert Hunt. Once he gets in front of you, once he squares you up, it's pretty much a wrap. He does have issues with guys with length, clearly because of his arm length. But I think overall that's going to be that Liam Eichenberg is going to be a starting right tackle, and Robert Hunt will be a starting right guard.
Well, let me kind of go into a little bit more detail of this reason, because one of the things that I'm interested in knowing is, guys that are on this list that will not be with the team come week one. And the name that always is brought back up to me is Fluker, because a lot of people just don't know about him yet, as far as like if he's going to make the squad or not, because of the depth that we have, and especially drafting somebody like Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame. Is Fluker on the team? And if so, where do you see him getting, a certain amount of playing time, or is that to be determined through training camp and preseason? And then the second question is there a person on this list that has been on the team for the last couple of years that you could see getting, released come training camp or preseason time?
I think Fluker is going to be on the team. They actually put in a waiver claim, but they lost it to Houston, and actually the Raiders put in a waiver claim too for Washington left tackle Jerron Christensen, who got waived this past week. So clearly they want to continue to try and upgrade the position and try and have as many camp battles going on. I think Jonathan Hubbard and I think Larnell Coleman are going to be practice squad bodies. I think Fluker is going to make the team, though, because of his ability to kick into guard or to kick into right tackle. Because, knock on wood, you go back to even when Pouncey was around, we've had nothing but injury problems going on with that offensive line. So I do think you need to have as much depth as possible, and if you can have experienced depth, that's even better. So I do think Fluker is going to make the team.
Now, real quick, let me ask you, man, because when it comes around training camp time, you start to see people get released. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody that's on any roster right now on the offensive line that you could see getting released come that time, that what, this person could make a difference on our team? And there's whether it's a salary cap hit or they're just an older veteran and they might have depth in that team, or is that something that we usually just, hey, we got to wait to see what happens come week 3, week 2 of preseason and see what happens with that?
I think it's going to be a wait and see what happens thing, but shout out to my homie EM in the comments because we've talked about it. Morgan Moses is someone that they should be looking into. Even if you think he can only be a right tackle backup, I think
he's out of UNC, right? He's a Tar Heel, right?
He's out of he's from, and he's also from Washington. He's another tackle from Washington, right? So I believe that Morgan Moses is definitely, but you're gonna have to trade for him. So I don't know if they're going to be willing to give up. They might sit around and wait to see if he gets released. The problem is when these guys are getting released or put on waivers, we're all the way down at 18, right? So there's going to be a lot of bodies and a lot of teams in front of us with the chance to get them in. You talk about the Raiders, for example. They just put in that claim for Jerron Christensen. Morgan Moses is a guy they would probably put in a claim for as well. So you'd have to trade for him.
I remember when Morgan Moses was coming up in the draft, I wanted the Dolphins to trade for him so bad. But, I mean, I could probably go down the list of all the guys on offensive line that I wanted the Dolphins to draft over the years, just because I've always think we've been so bad at it. Like, I don't know how you feel about the Jake Long pick, but I just feel like that to this day is still the wrong pick. Like that was not the pick we should have done.
Well, it's because of hindsight, right? But if you look at the first 3 years of Jake Long's career, he was arguably the best tackle in the NFL. So it's just injuries piled up. But I get it. I wanted Matt Ryan. You go back to the Deion Jordan pick. I thought they were moving up to take Lane Johnson, but they took Deion Jordan, right? So
yep. All right, let's go to the guards real quick, man. Let's check out the guards. So we got here, this is from NBC Sports again. This has got Dieter playing left guard, but we all think that that's probably not going to be the case.
Yeah.
And then projected right guard, they had Solomon Kinley, Adam Pankey, again, DJ Fluker, and Robert Jones. Your thoughts on this?
So I think Solomon Kinley is going to be your starting left guard. That goes back to his natural position at Georgia. You also saw when he played last year how it improved Austin Jackson, especially in run sets. So Solomon Kinley, I think, will be your starting left guard. I read something yesterday that they're giving Jesse Davis the chance to compete with him at left guard. I don't know how I feel about that because Jesse Davis, just that guard, I don't think he has the functional strength for that. I think DJ Fluker will be your backup right guard to Robert Hunt. And if Michael Dieter is not your starting center, I think he's going to swing between the center and the guard position if something happens over there. I do see Robert Jones is an interesting one because I know they got him at a UDFA status, but I think Robert Jones is more ready right now, and still training camp hasn't happened. But you look at his tape compared to a guy like Larnell Coleman, I think Robert Jones is more NFL ready at this stage in his career than Larnell Coleman, and he is a guard. So I would not be surprised if somehow, some way, Robert Jones sneaks onto this roster starting when the year starts.
I have a very stupid and simple question to ask you. What is it going to take for some of these offensive linemen? What are they going to have to show in the preseason and in training camp to the coaching staff? That's good without the obvious, right? What is it going to take for this coaching staff to be like, you know what? This is what these guys are going to have to do in order to make this roster. Because I think for the first time in a very long time, we have depth at the offensive line. And I don't remember that in the past years.
I think consistency is going to be the biggest key. Being consistent with every rep, winning your one-on-one battles when you're in the trenches. And, there's not going to be much room to slip up and have a bad rep with so many people breathing down your neck. So consistency is going to be key. As long as you're consistent, as long as you're technically sound, I think you're going to have a chance to crack it.
I would definitely agree with that on that. But I was telling people on the show earlier this week that I have never been this excited for preseason in a very, very long time, because I feel like for the first time in a long time, we're going to have, a preseason that I think the games actually are going to matter because there's only 3 of them. And so, what we've seen in the past years is we've seen preseason game number 1, you get a series. Preseason game number 2, you get maybe the first quarter. Preseason game number 3, you get a half, and you rest your starters in the 4th game. But now with only 3 preseason games, and from what I've heard, I don't know if they're doing joint practices this year.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything regarding that.
Yeah. Then, I feel like we're going to see a lot of the starters in the preseason, at least for those first 2 games. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think you're going to see a ton of Tua, but because there's so much competition in the trenches.
Jacoby Brissett time.
Oh yeah.
Where's TD? Where's TD at?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think Jacoby Brissett's going to be. Let's say this. I said this to someone. I'll say it again. If we get to a point where Jacoby Brissett has to take over the starting position, this team's not making the playoffs.
Oh man, look, I said I make that joke all the time, but I've said that from day one. If Jacoby Brissett plays on this field even a snap this year, something horribly went wrong.
Yeah,
something horrible went wrong. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I think that's a great segue to the quarterback position. Just real quick, because you already brought it up, so we might as well just bring that up real quick. Let me pull up the quarterbacks here. Where are you at? QBs. It doesn't want to work for me. There we go. All right, QBs. Here we go. We got Tua and Jacoby, and then Reed Sennett and Jake Rudolph. Mm-hmm. So, look, here's the question. Do we keep 3 quarterbacks? If not, who's the third quarterback that's on the practice squad?
I think it's going to be usually for game day, you only carry 2. I don't expect that to change. The position I expect they may carry more than normal is at wide receiver because of the log jam. And I think Reed Sennett is going to be your practice squad quarterback.
You know, God forbid any of this comes to fruition, man. But by the way, I love that coffee mug, bro. That Tua coffee mug. I'm wearing my Tua jersey today too.
Attaboy.
Get back on camera.
Attaboy.
All right. So yeah, I mean, look, I feel like Rudock and Sennett are the same quarterback. I feel like they're the same thing. But I also feel like at the end of the day that if Rudock and Sennett get there, I mean, we saw what happened in Washington this year. Heineke, right? Tyler Heineke.
Yeah.
Like, is that just something that just fell off the face? Or do you think that could happen more often in the NFL? Like these third string quarterbacks, some of them actually have game.
Yeah, I mean, it's that Willie Beeman effect, right? When you go back any given Sunday, you go from reading the paper to, hey, you're in, kid. You know what I mean? So, yes, and I don't see it happening very often, but, I mean, anything's possible. You know what I mean? So, especially with all these young quarterbacks going on nowadays, it's clear, and maybe this is the Josh Rosen effect. I don't know. But it's clear that the patience has run thin across the league, whether it's fan bases or management, with young guys developing, especially as you get closer to completing your roster. And that may make teams go and try out whatever they have behind that starting option. Now, did I think Tyler Heineke was even that good? No. But, I mean, he was sufficient. You know what I mean? I mean, but sufficient isn't going to take you to the Super Bowl unless you have a early 2000s Tampa Bay Buccaneer or Baltimore Ravens defense, right?
You know, I live up in this area, and bro, let me tell you, before they signed Fitzpatrick, Washington's were straight up like, yeah, Heineke's going to start the year. He's going to take us to the playoffs again. Now, I know that fans can be just fans sometimes, but I can't think all those fans don't know what they're talking about. They had to have seen something that they're like, this kid's got game.
Well, I mean, they might also be be prisoners of the moment too, right? Yeah. Because you remember last year, didn't the Carolina Panthers, didn't they go with PJ Walker?
They did.
Remember for a little bit? I mean, because we all remember what he did in that defunct football league, whatever, right? So I mean, it was clearly other guys were trying to see if they could. Other teams were trying to see if they could get that magic off the bench, but it's very hard to find.
That's because Dwayne Haskins didn't he screwed up again too. I mean, that was the Carolina situation, though.
Yeah, it was Teddy, right?
Yep, Teddy. Then Dwayne. Then what's his face? And I want to say a fourth quarterback played there last year too.
Well, hey, their number 3 guy. Will Greer.
Yep.
And I was
West Virginia.
And I was actually a real Will Greer fan coming out when he was coming out. He made some big boy throws, especially when you go back to that Texas West Virginia game. But I digress. It's just that's the one position pretty much what you have, right? But hey, I've played with guys. You know what I mean? I have a guy on my show a lot, Martin. He's one of my main mods. He's the former starting quarterback for Florida A&M, And, we've talked about this. You play with guys at every position where during the week at practice, they look like absolute buckets. And then coming, game day, that whistle blows and they just turn that switch on. Right. So, it can happen at any position and
100.
quarterback included. Right.
100%. It's any given Sunday, just like you said, and you never. It's next man up.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to tight ends. Let's talk about tight ends. So you're looking at this right now, and you see Gesicki, obviously Hunter Long, Ethan Carter, Durham Smythe, Adam Shaheen, Nate Wheating, Chris Myrick, and Blount.
Pretty Blount, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's crazy amount of tight ends.
Bro, I joked about it. I said, what are we running? 16-man personnel over here with all these tight ends? Like, it's ridiculous. You know what's crazy? I would not be surprised if come the end of camp, Durham Smythe is an odd man out here. It really would not surprise me. We run the 5th most 12-man personnel in the NFL. Clearly, they're going to go with Mike Gesicki and Hunter Long. Hunter Long, I've seen the comps, and it's a decent comp of Todd Heap. He's more well-rounded. He runs better routes than Mike Gesicki. He's a better blocker than Mike Gesicki. Now, he doesn't give you what Mike Gesicki gives you at the catch point and what Mike Gesicki can give you after the catch. Hunter Long is one of those guys where he knows where the sticks are. He'll get you to the sticks, but he ain't going to get you much past the sticks. But he's a very smart player too as well. Just like Brian Flores, he's that Boston College alum, right? Yeah. So
that was a fun pick if I've ever seen one.
Oh, for sure, right? Like you saw when he spoke, if you saw the video of when he spoke to him after he selected him, it was clear that it was a Brian Flores pick. So yeah, this is going to have to be trimmed down. I mean, you look at what struck me as odd with them adding all these bodies. Do you remember last year how many times they protected Chris Myrick on game day? Like they protected him 4, 5, maybe 6 times last year. Yeah. And this is what I don't get, why they were so, they're so adamant about adding so many bodies to that group. I don't know whether they're trying to see if they can get as many tight ends as they do receivers in the room, but it's going to be interesting to see because they also added the kid that I like out of Alabama, the fullback who also plays tight end. So it's going to be interesting to see Carl Tucker. He played tight end at UNC, and then when he transferred to Bama, they had him line up as a fullback. So it's going to be interesting to see how that whole group shapes up. But I would not be surprised if Durham Smythe is the odd man out.
Dude, I look at that, and the one that I want to know is about Mac Hollins because I like Mac Hollins a lot. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts about Mac? Because I want to see him succeed so bad with us, but I just don't know if he's going to be there.
Somewhere in Texas right now, EM Dolphin fan is doing backflips that you said that. He's a huge Mac Hollins fan. I think with Mac Hollins, he is going to make this team because of his ability on special teams. Another thing me and EM have talked privately about is when they lined him up at tight end, he was actually very effective. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Mac Hollins. The guy's clearly got the talent. And last year he showed he could stay healthy, but he's at least going to make the team for special teams.
Well, he's got so much flair from that standpoint that I want to see him do it. And then I look at Adam Shaheen, and I think Adam Shaheen is probably going to make this roster too. Mm-hmm. So, if I had to guess, you're going to have Gesicki, you're going to have Long, you're going to have Shaheen, and maybe you're going to get a fourth, and that'll probably be Smythe or Hollins. I don't see anybody else. Although I'd like to see what this Blunt kid has. I really would.
I don't know if you heard yesterday, but apparently he had a beauty 20-yard catch. Went
I
up
did
in
not
high
hear
point.
that.
Yeah, he went up and high pointed the ball on first day of OTAs and had a nice 20-yard reception. Apparently,
Hey, look, man, I didn't hear about anything yesterday because I was getting ready for you, bro. Like I knew you were coming out. I had to come correct, bro. Hey guys, I need you to hit that like button. There's 40 people watching right now. There's only 25 likes. Reason, tell them to go hit that like button for me, man.
guys, go pancake that like button like Robert Hunt is going to be pancaking defensive tackles on the interior this year.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. All right, enough about the tight ends. Now here comes the fun part. Let me start with wide receiver 1. All right, so we'll go with wide receiver 1, right? And so here we'll go with wide receiver 1. Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Matt Collins. I don't know why NBC Sports had him here. Albert Wilson, Malcolm Perry, Alan Hearns, Kirk Merritt, Robert Foster, and Loxley. And this is NBC Sports that did this. So I just, want to get your thoughts on this. And this is for wide receiver number 1.
So I think when it's all said and done, Will Fuller might be your wide receiver 1. But Devontae Parker's got a good shot because he looks motivated right now. For the first time when I was watching what was going on at OTAs yesterday, he didn't have wraps on his legs. He didn't have anything like that. So he looks fully healthy. He looks fully motivated, and he should be because there's guys nipping on his butt for his spot right now. Through this list, if you're going to give me this list at wide receiver 1, it's Devontae Parker. And when it's all said and done, I think Preston Williams, I don't want to say might be the odd man out, but he might not have a chance.
His injuries will be the only reason why.
Well, I think, because of Waddle and Fuller, snap counts are going to be taken away from Preston Williams, and a guy on that list that I really like, and I want to see what they got from what they have this year is Kirk Merritt. When you go back to Arkansas State, this guy's an absolute beast. We're talking about a 49-inch vertical here. We're talking about a guy who has legit low 4.3 speed, but he's literally just bricked up. You know what I mean? He looks like the 6-foot version of what Jakeem Grant is, right? And I want to see what they have with Kirk Merritt now. If you go back to training camp last year, before he got hurt, he lit up Byron Jones with Tua. And he started making plays in practice with Tua. So clearly him and Tua were building some kind of rapport. They've been working.
Field. I was about to say, they've been on the field together in South Florida this summer.
Yeah, they've been working together this summer too. When that picture came out with Tua and the 5 receivers, Kirk Merritt was on the field. So, and then he got hit with COVID midseason too, right? So I believe the reason why he was on the practice squad was, if you go back to what he was at Arkansas State, it was one of those things where just get the best athlete on the field, the football. I don't care what you run, just go out there, go get the football, right? And I think they were really trying to expand his route tree and his route running ability. And I think if they've worked on that and he's gotten better at that, I think, it's going to be interesting to see if they carry 7 or 8 guys, if he has a chance to crack the roster, because I think the writing's on the wall for Jakeem Grant. When
I've said on TD's platform, I've said on Doug's platform, I've said on my platform, Jakeem Grant, I don't think we'll be here week 1. No. I'm not saying I'm going to be wrong, that I'm right about that. It's just a feeling that I have. I don't think he's going to be here week 1.
And you saw what his agent did, right?
Dude, he straight up was like,
Yeah. So it's clearly, when Danny Crossman, our special teams coach, came out and said that he's going to have Waddle's going to have a chance to compete in Javon Holland, because Javon Holland returned punts at Oregon, are going to have a chance to compete. You know what I mean? That obviously did not sit well with Jakeem Grant.
You know what's funny about that, real quick too, man? I look at who's the big time agent that's down in Miami there?
Drew Rosenhaus?
Drew Rosenhaus, right? And I feel like any Dolphins player that ever has gone with him, I'm like, well, that's the end of their Dolphin career. Like, I feel like that's where Dolphin players go to dive for their Dolphin career. And all of a sudden now I'm kind of seeing more of I'm trying to pick the right adjective to use. I'm seeing a lot more agents, even small time, lower agents.
Yeah, this guy that Jakeem Grant has is a small time guy, right?
Yeah.
Murphy McGuire. I've never even heard of the guy.
I've never heard of the guy either. But I have noticed a lot of these small time agents now getting real, like they're willing to say whatever for their clients, and I'm very surprised because I think it's an oversaturated market in the NFL for these, especially for wide receivers. Like that takes a lot of balls to be like, hey man, this is what you're gonna, I don't see it, I don't understand it. I'm not saying he's not going to be able to get paid and find a job somewhere else for Albert Wilson's sake. But I do think I'm seeing it a lot more often. And have you noticed that? Do you?
Yeah, and the problem with that is, you think Brian and Flores and company are going to put up with that attitude?
Hell no.
Especially if it trickles down to the player. Listen, they want players to be as versatile as possible and as willing to play wherever they want them to play as much as possible. If you're going to be out here complaining through your agent, it's not going to sit well. And before training camp, when wide receiver has the biggest log jam of any position on this team, that's the worst thing you can do. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't see Robert Foster can return kicks. Lynn Bowden Jr. can return kicks. Javon Holly can return kicks. Jalen Waller can return kicks. Malcolm Perry. I don't think Malcolm Perry will be on the team, but he can return kicks. There's just so many options here. You need to, Preston Williams can return kicks, but we all know he got injured on one. So there's just too many options for you to be out there running your mouth, put your head down and get to work. That's all.
Bro, that's what I'm getting at. And I see some people in the chat box are agreeing with me. I knew I wasn't crazy. It's like the first time I've talked about it too on any platform. Because I just noticed it when Jakeem Grant's agent did it. I'm like, holy cow, this is like all of a sudden I just hear agents being so vocal. I've never, with the exception of like Rosenhaus and who's some other guys, Stein, right? Stein Steinberg.
Yeah.
He's
the real Jerry Maguire, right? That's who Jerry Maguire is.
Exactly. But it's just insane. Yeah. All right, let's go to wide receiver number 2. Wide receiver number 2 is Will Fuller and Jakeem Grant. So I have 2 things up here boxed. I have suspended first 6 games, PED violation for Fuller, and then Jakeem Grant. I have is Jakeem on our roster week 1, and so we've kind of already touched on that. But why not? Why don't you touch on it briefly, real quick again, both of those things?
Will Fuller's actually only missing the first game of the season.
He is.
Yeah. He's already served a bunch of them, right? So
that's right. Okay.
He'll miss the New England Patriots game, and then he'll be back for Buffalo. Is Jakeem Grant on the roster week 1? If I'm a betting man, I say no. I think, like we've gone over here, I just think there's too many people that can do what he can do. Again, I go back to this. I talked about this, many players who are no longer on the team now. He's not a Flores guy. Flores did not draft him. Flores is not personally invested in him. You know what I mean? And if you go look at the money, they would be more liable to keep Allen Hurns because of his dead cap hit than they would of a guy like Jakeem Grant. Same goes for Albert Wilson. I want Albert Wilson on this roster. Okay?
I love him. But he hasn't played in 2 years, bro.
But he played at the end of 2019, right? He started getting on to his form by the end of it. Played the last 3 games, I believe, right? And then he didn't play last year. But the reports out of camp yesterday were Allen Hurns and Albert Wilson looked very good. The reason why I want Albert Wilson is there's a couple reasons. He looks like your prototypical Alabama guy, all right? 4.3 speed, yak ability, quick out of his breaks, perfect for the slot. Love it. If we are going to run, I want to hit you with this one. If we're going to run 11-man personnel, we got 3 receivers set out there like what you're seeing right now. Imagine if I line up on the left side, I put Waddle and then Albert Wilson, okay? Mm-hmm. And on the right side, I'm hitting you with Will Fuller. Do you know the kind of conflict that's going to create for an NFL secondary? That is going to be a serious problem because there's serious speed on there. But not only is there serious speed, all 3 guys specialize in their ability after the catch.
So that's what I put on wide receiver 3. I have Waddle will he win offensive rookie of the year? And I have Bowden. By the way, NBC Sports made these. They weren't me.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
And then I have who leaves, Bowden or Perry, because I don't see both of these guys staying on the roster.
I agree
One
with
of
that.
them's going.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Those two questions for you there, Reason.
I saw a target projection by NFL yesterday. They had Waddle at a projected 107 targets, only behind Will Fuller. Will Fuller had like 110 or something like that. If he gets targeted 107 times, he's going to have a good chance. Let me put it that way. I do think that Najee and Javonte Williams, and it's going to hurt, are going to have a very good chance to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So do I think Waddle will be in the mix as long as he's targeted enough? Yes, because of his explosiveness.
But you're not sold. Is it what I hear hesitation in your?
It's going to be tough because it's a lot easier for a running back to win that than it is for a receiver. Justin Jefferson last year was an anomaly, and then even still, it's even easier for a quarterback to win that than it is because as much as Herbert was the rookie of the year, you could make the legitimate argument that it should have been Justin Jefferson, but he's not a quarterback, right? So as far as your question about Bowden or Perry, I put all the money on the house that Perry will not be on the team.
That sucks.
Lynn Bowden, I think will
do good, but I agree with you because Bowden's better.
Lynn Bowden is better, and that's a guy I think. As we've added all these wide receivers, and it's a pretty consistent theme throughout Dolphins community, none of us want to see him, developmental snaps taken away from him. Everyone wants to see his trajectory continue to go upwards because if you look at our receiving core last year, Lynn Bowden was the only receiver in our receiving core that did not register a single drop. So he's reliable and he's a playmaker. So, and he does it without 4.2 speed or low 4.3 speed. So Lynn Bowden is a guy who I think has to stick around.
Dude, when he came over from Vegas, right? And when we got him, I saw him do some stuff in some plays last year that I'm like, holy cow. Like, number one, I think he's our emergency quarterback, right? And I just feel like we could design some plays around him. Whoo!
Wildcat.
And, oh my God. And then, you put Albert Wilson at wide receiver on the field with him, as well as Jalen Waddle, as well as Will Fuller, as well. I mean, like, it's crazy some of the plays that could be coming around the corner. I'm excited to see what the playbook has as far as like trick plays this year with some of these guys on the personnel.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this playbook unfold because, even you go back to Najee Harris when he was on Pat McAfee. Najee was the first to kind of tip us off when he said, that it's very similar to what they ran at Alabama, except the terminology is obviously different. So that excites me because clearly they are catering to our quarterback, which is how you're supposed to build a defense. You're supposed to build build your offense. You're supposed to build your offense around your quarterback schematically, strategically, and playbook wise. So that has me excited that, I think we're going to see screens. We're going to see some RPO. I think we're obviously, I think we're going to see a little bit more no huddle because that was how effective he was. Very effective in no huddle, just like he was against the blitz. And I think you're going to see a high paced offense that's spread out. So it's going to, and you're going to see the 12-man personnel in there too. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how things unfold with this playbook. I can't wait.
I don't think I really missed on any other position there. I think I hit on all the positions on offense. Like I said, I was literally up all night last night making this thing. I don't know if you caught it or not here, but I put your logo in the background there on the field.
Sir. I appreciate it, man.
Dude, yeah. I was trying to be so creative and everything last night. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to make it look good, and if I have a guest like Reason on, I got to make it look good." But look, man, let me. There's some other questions that I know I want to ask. If you guys want to ask a question, go ahead and get in the chat box. ask Reason or myself anything. I want to take some of your questions. Also, donate to the channel. By donating to the channel, you're helping us grow. We want to give you more amazing daily content, and your donations help us reach our goal. So I want to give a big shout out for Cap for Life today. He's definitely stepped up big. I am doing a giveaway. Any donation over $5, you will be entered to win a pair of DWA shorts. So I am pretty stoked about that. Those DWA shorts are fire. You got to give me your size, Reason. We got to get some of those out to you from Solo.
Appreciate it, man.
Because those are
shout out to Cap. He's one of the mods over on Phinside the NFL. He always brings good energy wherever
Cap
he goes,
has been
man.
so loyal to me.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy, man.
And I'll call he doesn't like the other station that I'm on in the afternoons, but he's been listening to me every day, and so I think Cap
is a good guy,
awesome.
man.
I love Cap, man.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Absolutely love Cap. And I know you don't like him, but I love Flipside too, man. That's been the best part of running this show now, is getting to know the people like in the chat rooms. Like Estefan is absolutely amazing, and Marcus and Samuel Rosa. I mean, all these people have been here like every day since I've done the show. So it's amazing once you start this thing and you start growing it, you start seeing people in here that just
get the regulars. Yeah,
I love it, man. I love it. Like, I want to know what's going on in their lives and how things are going. And M is the same way too. M is a regular on your channel, and he's been coming over. I got to get M on over here. People told me he knows his stuff, and I've heard him on your show a couple times.
EM's the man.
Definitely got to do that.
He's actually, I would say EM's my best friend in this community. We talk pretty much on the daily. That's what the beautiful thing about this community. We met each other in October 2019, and it's just one of those things where we cultivated a friendship, and we're on a really tight personal level. He's not only my best friend in this community, he's probably one of my better friends in real life as well too. So he's a great dude, and he's very, very, very knowledgeable. One of the more knowledgeable people in this community, no doubt about it.
Dude, it's very interesting the people you get to meet through here. Since I've been doing the podcast network now, I guess for like the shows I've been doing for about a month. The podcast network I've been doing for about 6 months. So in that time, I've gotten to know Doug and TD, and now I'm getting to know you. And I want to get to know everybody, because I think everybody, whether you love them or hate them, and I'm not just saying you, I'm just saying like the people in the chat room in general, I just think that it's so cool that people have such a fandom of one NFL team, and that there's all these people that have like their own thing. Like they're trying to create their own little nest of how they go about things without jacking somebody else's style or doing some of the same things. Because it's tough, right? Like I want to say, last week, did you have Big E on your show yet?
No, I haven't had a Big E on my show yet. No,
I think we talked about that last time, and I thought you had Big E on, but I had Big E on. He's on Dolphins Talk though.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So I don't know, but he was on somewhere, and then like the next day I was on with him. He was on with me, and I just noticed that the circle's so small sometimes that you're just going to work with some of the same people in that circle.
Yeah, sure.
So it's been fun, man. All right, couple more things, man. Let's see here. Mr. Ball Game says, M-Dolph fan, it's going to be difficult to feed all those dudes. I say Waddle see 55 to 60 catches, 750 to 800 yards, and 6 to 8 TDs. Any thoughts on this, Reason?
That's realistic. I said I would probably cap him at about 850 yards. So that's pretty much realistic.
All right, let's see here. What else do we got here? Will Cam or Mac Jones start at quarterback against us in week 1? Duke says. What's up, Duke?
What's up, Duke? How you doing, man? I think Cam's going to be starting, but please, God, let it be Mac Jones. Please let it be Mac Jones. Please let it be Mac Jones. So because the top receivers in that game will be Xavier Howard and Byron Jones if it's Mac Jones. So I'm praying it's Mac Jones, but I think it's gonna be Cam.
Did you say the top receivers?
yeah.
Oh man, y'all need to like stop that soundbite and post that up everywhere. That's classic. I love that, man. Let's see here. True Bowden is not a burner, but he is fast enough.
Yep, exactly.
I'm trying to go through these and see what people are saying. M says I don't think Waddle will be highlighted enough.
Yeah, I that when I saw the 107 targets projected yesterday, I was like, that is way, way, way too high.
Guys, 36 likes. Want to get to 50 before we get off here today. So let's go. Hit that like button. As my man Reason says, pancake that like button. Let's see here. Mac versus Tua round 1. MF Finn says.
I would love it. I would love it.
Oh, here we go, Marcus. Hey, Reason. What kind of season do you think Parker has this year? I don't see him getting more than 800 yards, maybe 5 or 6 touchdowns. Thoughts?
He's shown the ability when he's healthy that he can get 1,000 yards. It's just a matter of if he can stay healthy. I mean, last year he only had 753 yards, I believe it was.
Yeah.
The
was
problem,
under 1,000, I know that.
Yeah, the problem is the ball distribution. I go back to Preston here. It's like, what's Preston's snap count going to be? Because before Preston got hurt last year, him and Tua were clearly building a rapport. That was obvious that it felt like Preston was Tua's number one guy. Now you add in Will Fuller and Waddle, and you might be right. There just might not be enough ball to go around. I think, if I was going to put money down, the 1,000-yard receiver, I could see if he stays healthy again and he stays off those PEDs, is going to probably be Will Fuller. So, again, I don't think you might be that far off with 800 yards.
Chef's Jew, shout out to Chef.
Shout out to Chef.
Reason, what are the chances of Melvin Ingram signing with us? # Dolphins talk, # clock blockers.
This is interesting to me because I know it's voluntary, but Ogba did not show up yesterday, and Barry Jackson had a report.
I saw that list. I saw that list of people that didn't show up.
X didn't show up either, which is curious.
Well, X didn't bother me because I wasn't surprised by it. I was very surprised with Ogba.
Well, X
apparently
had a reason why he didn't show up, and it had nothing to do with contractual dispute. So he was actually kind of excused and told them why he wasn't going to show up. Ogba, though, Barry Jackson put out a report that he does want an extension. And when you look at that with the timing of Melvin Ingram coming in, it makes you wonder if they're fearing a holdout from Ogba, and that's why they're entertaining Melvin Ingram. Sorry.
I said that like twice yesterday.
Yeah.
Gordon, don't feel bad.
So, and Josina Anderson has said that there's communication still going on between Melvin Ingram's camp and the Miami Dolphins. And a couple of days ago, he was working out with Xavier Howard. So, Melvin Ingram, I think the chances are, I would put it at.
He took a physical, didn't he?
I don't know if he took a physical.
I heard yesterday he took a physical.
If he took a physical, then I would put the chances at 70-30 that he signs. If he didn't take a physical, I would put it at about 55-45. It all depends on Ogba, I think.
I want Ogba so bad. Like, I want him to sign so bad.
Well,
guys, hit that like button.
I thought they would have done it anyways. You know what I mean? Like, because this guy had not.
Think they haven't? Do you think that's a?
I don't know. But maybe because they didn't have the money.
I don't.
Because right now they don't. They have enough money for their draft class, but that's about it. And my whole thing was he had 9.5 sacks last year. Okay, listen, if you're gonna stand him up more this year and not have him at a defensive end role, but stand him up as an edge in this defense, and he gets 12.5, 13 sacks, you're going to be paying him $1 million per sack. Because people need to come to this realization of what he did last year. I tweeted it out when I talked about Emmanuel Ogba. Okay, Emmanuel Ogba last year, Let me just pull it up right now so I can give you the exact stuff here. But the whole issue with Emmanuel Ogbah not showing up is he had the third most defensive end pressures last year. He had the fifth most sacks for a DE last year, and he had the second most hurries for a DE last year. So just like Xavier Howard, it's a guy who he realizes the production and his value to the team and to the pass rush, and he wants to get paid.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, man. So I look at Ogbah, and I think about our front office, right? And what bothers me is this reason that I feel like after the first year Ogbah being with us, that's when we should have signed him. Like that is like, but I feel like that's a common, like even before Greer, like that has always been a practice thing with the Dolphins of them not signing the person at the right time. Why is that something that's so difficult for this team that they just don't seem to be able to sign that person? Like, to me, I'm a fan. I'm not as smart as some of these people. I admit that. But to me, some of these signings, like, it makes sense. The guy signed a 2-year deal. He had an amazing year. Sign his ass. Get him locked up for the next 2 to 3. Be done with it. He wants to be here. He won't cost as much as if he had another great year, which he did. It just, I don't understand it, and it bothers me.
Yeah, I can't figure this one out either. I mean, what's the issue? Are you worried that the one healthy year was an anomaly? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, getting ahead on the deal saves you money in the long run. So I think they're kind of playing Russian roulette with this situation, and I don't think it's very smart because I had Ogbah last year. People go back to my prediction show. I thought Ogbah was going to crack double-digit sacks, and he missed by half a sack. So,
okay. All right. Couple more things I want to talk about before I get you out of here, because I know you said you got to get out of here at a certain time today, and I want to respect your time. I got to talk to him, man, and I got to talk Aaron Rodgers, and I got to talk to Deshaun Watson, because what would a show be without talking those three guys and getting the chat room all riled up?
Oh, here we go.
So, first things first. Does Deshaun Watson play this year?
I saw a report yesterday that he's not going to be
till 2022.
Deposed till 2022, February of 2022.
Correct.
So if this thing goes all the way into 2022,
there's no way he plays this year.
He's not going to get moved till the offseason next year. And if that's the case, I've dug in on this, and I'll say it again. Once that Carson Wentz second round conditional pick turns into a first rounder, the Eagles will be offering 3 first round picks for Deshaun Watson. Now it's a matter of if Deshaun Watson will waive his no trade clause, but he's made it known, him and his camp have made it known that they'll basically waive it to go to any team to get out of there. If this thing goes into February 2022, like they basically said, I don't see him getting moved this year.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's go to Aaron Rodgers, because to me that's a game of chicken. Who's gonna move first? And I don't see it being Rodgers. Rodgers does not want to be there. He has no desire to be in Green Bay anymore. I know what he said in public the other day when he was on vacation. I get that, but he doesn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there last year.
Yeah, and basically, you know, if you like read deeper into the reports, he doesn't like the general manager. He basically wants a shakeup at the top.
He hates the head coach. He doesn't like the GM.
Yeah, apparently the GM is the issue at the core here. So it's going to come down to do you want to fire your GM or hold on to your franchise guy?
Well, they played this song and dance before. Remember Brett Favre? It just. How does a team repeatedly do this?
And what they do? They traded him to the New York Jets, and they put provisions on that if the Jets traded him to the Minnesota Vikings, they would be forfeiting more draft picks. So, you know, I think this is a guy.
Did that happen?
Yeah, that happened.
That was a clause.
Yeah, that was a clause in the trade.
How did all right, I need to go back and look at this because I remember hearing that, but I never thought that was something that could be done.
Yeah.
Do you remember like those details? Like, how did that get passed by NFL to even be a thing?
I have no idea how it got passed by the NFL, but I know it was a thing.
Wow, I'm going to look into that because that's insane. Okay, so does Rodgers play this year or does he not?
I think he plays this year.
Okay, does he play for Green Bay or does he not?
I think it gets worked out in the end.
Okay, all right. Well, then here's the thing: to even if those guys were available, although you just said neither one of them are going to be heading anywhere this year. Tua's the guy, right? Like Tua's the future of this team.
Okay.
No, that's a question.
Oh, that's a question.
Yes.
Oh, Tua is definitely the future of this team. I think Tua is going to ball out this year. I think you're going to see a more determined kid than what people realize. I mean, I think a lot of people are underestimating this kid's ability, and it's clearly obvious that he's hearing all the background noise, and all it's doing is feeding his motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I like what Gesicki said yesterday. He said, he's hearing the stupid comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I love Tua. I support Tua. I always have been since day one. I wanted him when he was at Alabama. I said, this is the guy I want. I did not want Herbert. I was very surprised the year Herbert had because I just didn't see it after all the film breakdown that I saw and what I knew from Herbert. I just totally did not see the year that he had. I was very surprised by it. That's just me personally. But from Tua's standpoint, like I seen what he could do at Alabama, and I seen what he can do when he's fully healthy. And he was not fully healthy last year. He's just stated that yesterday again. He said,
Mm-hmm.
"Look, I was not good last year. I was not 100%."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had an exercise physiologist on yesterday, and I've had him on before, and we talked about it. It was clearly there was three things I highlighted about him. If you had watched him at Bama, and when you watched him last year, he wasn't confident in his body. He wasn't confident in his protection, and he wasn't confident in his receiving core. I mean, you could just tell with little things. Like if you watched him at Alabama, he was one of the best in the game at maneuverability and feel and presence for the pocket. By the end of the season last year, what was he doing? As soon as he felt the pressure, he was bailing. That wasn't to his game. If you go back to Alabama, if he felt the pressure, he'd just climb it to escape it and then make a throw. And he kind of got away from that, and you could tell that was because he didn't trust his protection. You could just, I've talked about this. I don't even think you saw his floor last year. I think what you saw was an anomaly. No OTAs, no rookie mini camp, no mini camp, a weirdly, oddly, awkwardly adjusted training camp.
Yep.
351 days removed from an injury where most people wouldn't even be able to run that quickly after.
Have ended.
Yeah. And he's starting his first NFL football game. I think, I talked about this. I don't know, I'm not an overly religious person. I don't know if you're an overly religious person, but think about this for a sec.
I am, but that's okay.
Okay, think about this for a sec. If he doesn't get hurt, he's not a Miami Dolphin. Okay? Now, then these allegations for Watson start just around the time that the trade rumblings start for Deshaun Watson to the Miami Dolphins. Okay? There's some divine intervention at play here. I don't know what it is, but something's going on. And I truly think Tua Tagovailoa was destined to be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Just something. And again,
I like what you're putting out there, Reason. Yeah, I like it.
And I'm not an overly religious person again, but I just sometimes the signs are just too much for you. And I truly think this kid's gonna ball out, and he's going to make people eat crow, and I'm going to be out here in the Dolphins YouTube community making sure I stuff that crow down people's throats. And, there's people that, listen, going back, I mentioned his name earlier. There's people out here who said Josh Rosen didn't get a fair shake by the Miami Dolphins. I know you heard that. They're the same people who want to move off of Tua Tagovailoa after 9 games. And if that isn't hypocrisy, I don't know what is, because guess what? Mike Gesicki was calling that group of people out too. Because what did Mike Gesicki say? There's people out here, he's only played 9 games and they want to move off the kid. Gesicki was calling that group of people out as well. So, I as well as the media. So here's my thing. Tua on one hip, okay, flashed more than Josh Rosen did in all 16 games he played.
Hands
not
down.
even close, okay?
Not
he did against the Arizona Cardinals, you go look at the factors. George Godsey was calling the plays for that game, and most of his weapons were healthy, and he went out and he beat Kyler Murray, all right? Josh Rosen couldn't have done that. I'll even go this far. Ryan Tannehill in his rookie year couldn't have done that. All right.
Hey, you're gonna get the Tannehill lever swarming out.
It is what it is, man. We waited for 7. That's what I get. People wanted to give Tannehill 7 years, but they want to give Tua 9 games. Now, and then Josh Rosen doesn't get a fair shake, but Tua gets 9 games. Now, I don't want to state what the obvious difference between Tua and 2 Caucasian quarterbacks is, but I mean, I'm just out here saying this kid, this kid's going to be special, man. I mean, the accuracy, the anticipation, you know what he has? Okay. From here up, it's elite. And, all these people kind of reading into what he said yesterday about the playbook. Go back to what Tom Brady said in his first year about Bruce Arians' playbook. He didn't understand Bruce Arians' playbook in his rookie year. That's a fact. Tom Brady said that he didn't understand. He didn't fully grasp the playbook after 1 year. Okay. Patrick Mahomes said, remember, rookie season, he wasn't a starter. Second season, he was a starter, correct?
Yep.
And here's my thing. What did Patrick Mahomes say? Even after his first year as a starter, 2 years in the league, he couldn't read defenses. But, Steven, what was Patrick Mahomes doing after Kansas City barely squeaked out against us? He was praising Tua, and he even said, I wish I was as efficient as this kid was when I was a rookie. That's exactly what he said.
So, Reason, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you what I said on air in this past week, and people said that I was crazy for saying it. But I feel like you're going to back me up. But if you don't, I totally get it. I said Tua's best game last year was that second half of the Kansas City game. I think I saw Tua, what he could be, what he will be, what he's going to be in that game. Like I saw flashes of it. And
that
people said I was crazy for saying that.
That throw to Gesicki, bro. That throw to Gesicki. Did you see Flores jumping up and down on the side?
I was jumping up and down.
But you know why Flores was jumping up and down? Because A, he said exactly what you said. He saw what this kid could be. But B, what did Tua do? Tua finally showed his trust in his receivers that I'm going to put it there. You're going to make the catch. And he put that in double coverage, man. And, I mean, in bracket coverage, basically. So, I mean, this kid is super, super. I'm just telling you, this kid, last year, we didn't even see his floor. And if last year was an anomaly, how high is his floor and what the hell is his ceiling? That's what you got to think to yourself right now.
Dude, number one, the last 4 minutes of your blurb here, like, engulf exactly, word for word, how I've been feeling about Tua and last year. Last year was I need people to realize, and I'm gonna reiterate some of the same things you just said, but add a couple things. People need to realize last year will never happen in the NFL again. Like that just will never happen. That's one. And part of that is you will never see the Fitzpatrick Tua situation again. Mm-hmm. Like there'll be quarterback controversies all day, every day in the NFL. Those two guys, though, liked each other. Like straight were best friends, couldn't get enough of each other. And it was just a very unique, I don't want to say weird. It was just a unique dynamic. And Flo was part of that dynamic too. And so it just brought in for a very interesting thing when It came to, hey, look, Tua, we're going to sit you down. We're going to play Fitzpatrick. Not one single time last year saw Tua with his head down when that happened. He was on the sidelines, and every time Fitzpatrick came off the sideline, guess what they were doing together? Looking at tape, looking at film. Guess who was Fitzpatrick was showing him everything. Fitzpatrick has been in this league for a million years and will never get into the Hall of Fame. But he's one of the smartest damn quarterbacks that has ever played the game, as far as I'm concerned. And so,
Agreed.
I think that to be able to play a year under him, the same way that I think Mahomes learned from Alex Smith, I just think it's going to do wonders for Tua. And then, agreed, there was no preseason. There was no training camp. There was no OTAs. There was nothing. And you were rehabbing an injury. You get all of that this year, plus you're not rehabbing an injury.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, too. He's got two coordinators that believe in him with Godsey and Stutesville. And,
people hate that it's a 2 OC system.
I love it,
I
bro.
love it. I love it, man.
Hey, a 2 OC system is what took the 85 Rams all the way to the NFC Championship, and it took the 85 Bears to beat them. But okay, and you know what? Basically, McVay and Shanahan, they have passing game coordinator and a running game coordinator. It's basically a 2 OC system. Yep. It's just a title, right? Anyway,
a lot of people have it. They just call it something.
Yeah,
different.
they just call it different, something else. Hey, the Patriots even have a red zone coordinator. Anyways, okay, here's the thing you got to look at too. And I like Fitzpatrick. I got no issues. But Fitzpatrick went into business for himself. And what I mean by that is if you go and you look into the facts are out there, you can go find it yourself. Brian Flores approached him in the offseason last year and said, listen, what would be your suggestion for an offensive coordinator we could bring in here to help us develop a rookie quarterback? He suggested Chan Gailey. That's who they eventually went with. I've said this before. I said this last summer. I posed two questions to Dolphin fans. A, name a team that Chan Gailey's taken deep into the playoffs as an offensive coordinator, and why is it going to change now? Because there isn't one. And B, name a young quarterback he developed, because by the time Fitz came there, he had about 23, 25 NFL starts by the time he went under Chan Gailey, okay? So, again, why is that going to change now? You go, like I sit on these media availabilities, I press access, okay? Chan Gailey all last year kept talking about how it's literally out there for people to see. I wouldn't have come back if it wasn't for Fitz. I came back because of Fitz, et cetera, et cetera. The telltale sign was when they made the quarterback change, Steven, Chan Gailey was not in that meeting. He found out through the media. Why do you think that is? Because he's too personally invested in Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Let me ask you. I want to pause you for 1 second because I need you to confirm or deny something for me. I call bullshit, and I'm sorry, I don't cuss a lot on my channel, but you're on here today, and you're that guy. So I feel like I got to be that guy. I got to match you step for step today. Okay?
Yeah.
I call bullshit that there was not two playbooks. Everybody said that there was one playbook, and that Tua just couldn't run certain plays. There were two different philosophies for Gailey from when Tua was in to when Fitzpatrick was in. So to me, that is two different playbooks. Agree? Disagree?
He clearly dumbed down.
Yep.
And oversimplified his playbook. I mean, and this is where I was going with this. You go back to last year. Okay, there's a couple things to highlight. One, after the KC game, they asked Chan Gailey, did you know he could run the no huddle this well? Chan Gailey said, no, I had no idea he could run the no huddle that effectively. The very next week, Chan Gailey comes out to the press and says, I'm not with that no huddle stuff. Right then and there, you're showing you're not playing to your quarterback strengths. Number two, Tua, because he's such a polite and humble kid. If you remember, I forget what week it was, but again, the receipts out there and the media availabilities at post game. Tua came out and he talked about how, remember this, he talked about how him and the offense weren't on the same page with Chan Gailey and some of the calls being played. He came out and he said that. All right. So he basically said me and some of the players aren't on the same page with what's being called. Okay. Number 3, what did he say yesterday? Key thing not a lot of people picked up on near the end of his Zoom session. He said, I was going out there and executing plays I knew weren't going to work, but he wasn't given the ability to check out an alert. So he basically said, I'm going out there and he's calling plays and I know they're dead in the water, but they're not giving me the ability to check out of them because Gailey basically didn't think he knew the playbook well enough. And that is a problem. If your quarterback, that shows that Tua understands the defenses. That shows that he understands what he's about to see because he's basically saying, from what the defense is showing me, I know this ain't going to work. But Gailey didn't give me the ability to check out, so I got to run it. And I've been with OCs like this before in high school and in college where you don't run the play that they originally call and they take it personal because it's not the play they called. They want you just go out there and run what I call. And that's how that's how Gailey treated Tua. And that's a problem. He needs, if your quarterback sees, listen, you need to have your installs and your game planning ready where there's a set amount of plays you can check out of, to check into, sorry. So if you see something you don't like, you can check into this. Because let me ask you this, Steven. How many times did Fitzpatrick, and this is again on Gailey, even when Fitzpatrick was starting, how many times did you see him go up there and check out of plays that were called? All the time, bro.
I was about to say all the time.
So that right there is Fitz telling you.
The Vegas play at the end was a checkout.
It was.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that pissed me off. What did Gailey start doing after Tua came out of that game? He started exposing the Gesicki on Raekwon McMillan matchup. That should have been exposed when Tua was in the game. Okay? And, when I find out little things about how Gailey, and this is true, this is fact, Gailey threw out all of his defensive notes when he retired on all the coordinators in the NFL, and he was literally scrambling and trying to get notes from friends he had throughout the league on coordinators we were about to face. Gailey wasn't prepped.
Why was he the guy that was picked, though?
Because of Fitz.
I got so much. I got so much to say about that, but
it is what it is, man.
It is, man. I'm excited to see what happens this year. I'm gonna two things before I let you go. Before we finish off this, I'm gonna have you on again to do the defensive side.
For sure,
so we got to set that up. Yeah. I'm just not going to be up all night doing it next time.
For sure.
All right. A couple more questions, then I'll let you go, I promise.
Yep.
Where do you see – give me your record prediction for this year, man. And based on that, because I know you're not like Solo and TD, 17-0, 17-0. Yeah, I'm picking on both of them. Who are your losses to? That's what I want to know. What your record prediction is and who are your losses to?
Now you got to make me bring up the schedule to get specific here. I
mean, I can already say I think we lose one. We lose at Buffalo. I think
the first 2 games, like like you're talking about Halloween. Okay, so this is tough for me because I got to see what the team looks like at the end of training camp.
I'm talking about today, Reason. I'm talking about right now, the way the roster is stacked.
I think we go 0-2 against Buffalo. I think we lose the Buccaneers game. I think we lose to the Ravens.
Wow.
That's 4. And I believe we would, as it's today, because they haven't shown me they can stop the run, I believe that they would probably lose to the Tennessee Titans.
It's 5.
Yep.
So that puts us at 12-5.
Yeah.
But that gets us in the playoffs because I said you have to win 12 to get in the playoffs this year.
I hope it gets us into the playoffs.
No, 12 will get you in. Mark my words. 12 will get you in the AFC.
I thought 10 would have got us in last year, but here we are, right?
Bro, 12 will get us in next year. I promise you.
I'm hoping, bro.
You could save it. Take your receipt.
I will say this though, if we come out of the first 2 weeks 2-0, the AFC is going to be put on notice.
Like for real, 100%. So a couple of things I want to bring up that you brought up. We own Tom Brady in the state of Florida, so I don't care that it's at Tampa. we're gonna take care of him. That's my personal thought on that. My second thing is, I just think it's time that we got over the hump with this stupid Baltimore Ravens team. Like, I live up here in Baltimore, and it's so tough, bro, because I mean, I was here for that beat down. I've been here and I've been down there for a lot of the game. I was there for the week 1 beat down. I was here for the 40 to whatever when Kiko Alonso, ran into Flacco and just all that craziness. I think it is time. I think this is it. I think this is the year that we figure out a way to beat that stupid purple team. And yes, I said it, and I hope my Baltimore friends
purple
are
people
watching.
Leaders.
Yeah, all those Barney loving individuals.
I hope. I'll tell you one thing: Lamar Jackson ain't throwing for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns like he did a couple years ago against us. So,
you know what? Next question: do we have the best secondary in the NFL? Because you saw that stupid CBS thing that came out.
No, I didn't.
It had us at top. So there were 5 tiers of defenses.
Okay.
And they had us at 5, like the worst defense, like 29th in the league.
If Javon Holland plays to the ability that I think he's going to play, and Eric Rowe continues to play at the level he is, then yes, I would say we have the best secondary in the NFL.
I would, yep, and I'll even say I think we have the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, that remains to be seen, because if we can stop the run, then yes. Then
we haven't been able to do that in a very long time.
That's what the key is going to be, especially for week 1.
What do you think Christian
be,
Wilkins is going to do this year?
Well, I don't expect a lot of sacks because that's not his game. More of a run stop pressure guy. I think I'm expecting actually a big year from Raekwon Davis. I can see, because when he was coming out, me and EM did a show, and my comp, we had him number 3 on our nose tackle big board, only behind defensive tackle big board, only behind Javon Kinlaw and Derek Brown. And my comp for Raekwon Davis was Chris Jones from Kansas City. And I think I think Raekwon Davis is going to be the star of this interior this year. Christian Wilkins, all I ask is get some pressures, make some run stops, and please don't jump on anyone.
What do you got coming up on your channel next couple of weeks, man?
So tomorrow night, hopefully, I think EM's going to be joining me, and we're going to have a show, and we're going to ask a seriously hard question about the Miami Dolphins, and it's going to be hard for some people to swallow, but they're going to have to listen to what we're going to say. I haven't revealed what that question is, and I'm not going to reveal it until I open up the room tomorrow night, but the people are going to want to tune in and see that. And then on Sunday night, I've been doing a prospect preview series. I've already done Javon Holland. I've already done, I'm going in order. I've already done Jalen Phillips, and I've already done Jalen Waddle. And on Sunday, I'll be dropping my Liam Eichenberg prospect preview.
Oh, I'm excited for that one.
So yes, sir.
I think the Dolphins got 4 starters in the first 4 picks.
Hey, if 5th most 12-man personnel, Hunter Long might technically be the 5th.
What do you think of Dokes?
I like him. I see the vision right now for this backfield. If something happens to Gaskin, you have basically the same type of style and running back of Salvin Ahmed, who can step up. And if Malcolm Brown, something happens to him, you got Jared Dokes, who can step up and give you the same, except I think Jared Dokes offers you more in the passing game than what a guy like Malcolm Brown is going to offer you.
All right, guys. It has been pretty awesome hanging out with you today, man. Dude, the chat box was crazy. I've never seen my chat box go this nuts. People were fighting with each other. I am all about spread kindness here, people. But I was running the board. I was doing 50 different things. I couldn't even get into 90% of what was going on. And by the time I looked, there was still 20 new comments. I don't know how you do it, bro. Like it's crazy. Whatchamacallit? A couple things. Number one, if you want to win the DWA shorts, I just put the PayPal link and the Cash App link in there. I will wait till noon Eastern Standard Time. Any donation above $5 will get you automatically put into the drawing for the DWA shorts. Cap for Life, I will get with you, my guy. I love Cap for Life. And as the Finn, we already know we got to get together for the hat stuff. We're taking care of it because I see Cap in there getting on you about that. I'm going to take care of Estefan. And yeah, so we got that going on. Any donation you guys end up donating helps our channel grow. We got a lot of cool things going on. Solo is working on some new music. I heard his new song for this year. Dope.
Nice.
Dope as hell. I know you're a big hip hop fan.
Yes, sir.
Man, are you excited for this new Wu-Tang Clan movie that's coming out?
It's crazy. I'm weird with Wu-Tang. I actually prefer them solo that like individually than I do as a group. Like I'm a huge Raekwon guy. Only Built for Cuban Links is one of my favorite albums ever. And I actually have a meme Only Built for Dolphin Links. And if you've seen the cover of, it's actually one of the emojis in my chat too. If you've ever seen the cover for Only Built for Cuban Links, it's got Raekwon and then Ghostface behind him. Well, I had my graphic guy basically put Raekwon Davis's face on Raekwon the Chef's and Christian Wilkins' face on Ghostface. So I like Wu-Tang. I'm a Wu-Tang like Jizza.
I love Method Man. I love Method Man.
I actually never got huge into Method Man. So but I like Wu-Tang. Yep.
But dude, I'm stoked for that movie. That movie's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see who they got playing because I always liked the one about NWA. The one about NWA, great. Yeah. I think the people they got to play, like the guy who played Eazy-E, like he just nailed the part. Like
was that his son?
No, Ice Cube son played Ice Cube, but I don't think anybody else played. Any other person played their family member in the movie. But it was a dope movie. I loved it. So Solo's got some new stuff coming out. Be on the lookout for DWA women's clothing line. Allie, aka Doll Freaky. Her podcast is going to be coming out next month on our network. She is moving this week into the new house. So as soon as she moves into the new house, she told me the very first room she's unpacking is not her bedroom or the kids' room. It's the woman cave for the podcast. So
that's awesome.
I know, right? I'm so stoked about it. Tomorrow on the show, I'm going to have East 32 Tailgates in the building. My man Cameron. And we've also made a thing that, we all like tailgating. So we're going to we're going to figure out a way to do this over the coming weeks, but we're going to try to do what we call like a virtual tailgate on Fridays, Friday mornings on the show. So East 32 Tailgates, Cameron will be a part of the show every Friday morning. That's going to be dope. And I got to get Wade on with you, man, because you and Wade would, you guys are, your personalities are right there. I got to get Wade on with you. That would be a good show, watching you two guys go at it. That would be fun. I love what you do, man. I'm such a big fan of yours.
Appreciate it, man.
I really mean it, man. I was so excited that you wanted to come onto the show with me. And I'm grateful and I'm humble because I don't think I'm anything near compared to what you, Doug, and TD and you and Katie Flex, like all these guys you guys have built something. And I just feel humbled and privileged that I get to do this show every morning for amazing fans, the Dolph fans with attitude. And man, we got to do this again. We're going to do this again because we got to do the defensive side next time.
For sure. Bro, kudos to you for taking the morning slot because I'm over here still wiping sleep out of my eyes, bro.
Yeah, dude, every day. 5 days a week, every day. It was funny because I was like, how do I be different? Like I didn't want to do the same thing you guys did, but it's tough. Again, I try to tell you, we're all like kind of in the same thing. And I always wanted to have my own sports morning show. Like, it was like my dream ever since I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. And then the afternoon show kind of presented itself, and it was a way, and it was different because I just interview fans. And like, I will say this, because I think this is going to be big. I can say it now. It's not, I don't have a date official yet, but I am going to be interviewing Omar Kelly to talk about fans, specifically about like the love-hate relationship.
Nice.
So I am super stoked about that, because people either love them or they hate them. And so I feel like there's a lot of that same thing. Like in this chat today, I heard a lot of same things about a lot of the different people that do the YouTube stuff. And so, you know, that's what, but you know, hey, look, I mean, people need to have controversy, right? That's part of what makes this interesting and fun.
Controversy creates cash, buddy.
Yep, you are right, man. Where can they find you on social media?
On Twitter at _real_reason. I'm only a couple hundred away from 3,000, so let's get there. And then obviously the one below my name on the screen at Phinside the NFL is for just purely Dolphin stuff, updates, and keeps y'all informed of when I'll be going live next.
Guys, you guys can find me at StephenDSKPL. SKPL stands for spread kindness, positivity, and love. So you know what I tell all of my people that watch this show, go out and spread an act of kindness today, man. Even if that's giving somebody a hug or just, you know, trying to be there for somebody. Tomorrow, I have East 32, and we know what tomorrow is on my channel. It's hashtag Spread Kindness Friday. So I want to hear your stories about spreading an act of kindness on tomorrow's morning show, because that's what it's all about. 48 likes. I'd love to get to 2 more. My goal was 50 likes this morning, so I hope that I get that. And Reason, I love you, bro. Thank you for coming on, man.
Appreciate you for having me, man.
No problem.
For sure,
all right, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Y'all have a good day. Fins up. Hashtag DWA. Hashtag Phinside the NFL. Y'all have a good night or a good day. Peace. We'll see you tonight at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, I got Fin Evil coming on. That's right, the super fan, Fin Evil. He'll be on at 6 p.m. on Onside Radio. Check me out. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Peace.